Dear friends, it's now time to look to the future and invite onto the stage guys who have way cooler suits than mine. So you're going to meet Estonia's next generation of space enthusiasts. Please welcome once again Elise from Space Estonia, and she will introduce the astronaut class of 2025, fresh from their trip to Luxembourg, where they experienced, well, many cool things, including zero-gravity flights, also known somewhat less glamorously as the Vomit Comet.
Thank you again for a very good introduction. Welcome to the stage, astronaut class of 2025, fresh out from last week. Last year we piloted Estonia's largest space competition for school children. The competition is for children in the age from 13 to 19, and it resembles a real astronaut competition. And real astronaut competition selection process. The winners of the competition get to fly on a Novaspace parabolic flight and experience gravity similar to Moon and Mars, among other 2 different exercises on the Mars. We're going to hear more about that very, very soon. The purpose of the entire competition is to motivate young people to study in the field of STEM or space and promote the development of deep technology in Estonia overall. This year's competition attracted nearly almost 200 school students, so it's quite big for Estonia. And here we have 6 out of 10 finalists who flew on the flight. And project manager from Quark, Riin, there he is, from this year. Riin, how did this year's competition differ from last year? I know you had some innovative ideas in store for this year's.
Yeah, for this year, our main goal was to create not kind of competition, but also a space where people can come and experience new things. So we did a cool 3-day camp where they went to Amari basically where our planes are, our 4 planes, and also where our special friends
Military base.
Military base.
Military air base.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, we went there, and our goal was to, like, if you don't get to win and go to parabolic flight, then you get to this awesome experience and friends for life, and this is very space-based. So I hope we managed to we got a lot of feedback to our program, and it was also very positive. And so it was very nice and gave us a lot of strength to go to the next year.
How was the experience for you? What did you have to do to become astronauts in 2025 in Estonia as well as in Luxembourg? What happened to you? Tell us. Yeah, we haven't been there, so very curious to hear about your experience. You can go one by one. And also say your name and age and some of your hobbies, because I know all of you have very, very cool hobbies. I had the honor and good opportunity to get to know you more throughout the competition a little bit, and I know that you're very, very cool people, all of you. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Artur, and I'm 19, and currently I'm studying physics at the University of Tartu. And I think all my hobbies are in some way space-related, so currently I'm taking astrophotos, and it's a quite cool hobby, I think.
I'm Daniel. I'm studying at Tallinn Science School, and my hobby is robotics or drones. I really like to do them, and almost all my free time I'm doing them.
Hello, I'm Herta and I'm from Pärnu. I really like music. I play organ and the piano, but I also love physics.
Yes, hello everyone. So my name is Heti and I'm also from Tartu, and I'm 15 right now, and my hobbies are physics, of course, and also I love acting and different kind kinds of art. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Anna Maria. I'm also from Pärnu. I am 17 years old and I love, of course, science, also acting, and I do Estonian folk dance and debate.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I'm 17 years old and my hobbies are aviation, of course science, everyone mentioned that, and also I create some models of aircraft.
What was the hardest and the coolest part about the competition? We can start from Elisabetta.
So for me, as an aviation fan, for me the coolest part was of course Amory, because we got to see different airplanes and ask questions ask questions from the pilots of these airplanes. So that was educating as well as really fun. And I guess the hardest part for me was the physical test, because I'm not so good at running.
For me, the hardest part was, I think because it was tiring, but it was okay because it was so cool and fun. I really liked the Amory Air Force Base, and I liked that we could talk to the military people and get to know about those things that they are doing there.
Yes, I think the hardest part for me was sometimes to believe in myself, because there were so many so talented people that I had to think that I can do cool things too. Yeah, and I think the coolest part was, yes, Amory, and that we got to talk to so many specialists, yeah, that word. And of course the flight, but I think we're going to talk about it later, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think like the most hardest, but also the coolest part was also in the military. We were basically like in the military. We had to wake up 6 a.m., had to go running, and then we did a NATO test, which was like really tiring. But for me, I really liked it because I haven't like tested myself like that, and it was really nice.
For me, the hardest part was physical test, especially running. We must run 3.2 kilometers, and I think that was the hardest part. I think that the most exciting was when we needed to build some things from Lego bricks. For example, one task was to build different flags, different countries' flags, and then much you could build them, that better. We could build around 20, as I remember.
The hardest part was definitely the NATO test, because I remember the last time I ran was like half a year ago, so I'm quite happy I survived this. And I think the coolest part was that I actually won the competition.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
true.
Riin, what about you? What was the hardest and the coolest for you?
Well, I think the hardest was to tell all of the other contestants that unfortunately you are not the winner or you are not going to get to the next part. I think this was the hardest. Otherwise, I couldn't ask for the best people to do this competition first time. It was really fun, and yeah.
Cool. Was there something that you didn't expect to experience during the competition? Something surprising, a skill that you learned, or something that you saw or heard that you didn't expect from this? We can start from Artur.
I think my teamwork skill definitely improved a lot, and I didn't expect I need so much teamwork. And yeah, I think it's all.
Maybe the moment when I was shocked was when on evening in the camp we get know that on the next day we must wake up at 6 and go running.
I agree. And I think like for me, what I was, I didn't know about myself that much, that I can easily connect to different people. Like in the camp that we had, I could just like go up to a person and talk to them. So I think like that's interesting for myself.
Yes, I think I really like that we got to know so many things and learn so many things, and it wasn't just a competition. Yeah, like you didn't pass that, you're out. You did pass that, you're in. Whatever. So that was surprising for me that I literally learned something from the process. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I didn't expect to experience was the thing that Herta talked about earlier, the military life, but also that I would get so many new friends for life.
For me, I guess that was the fact that I got chosen because there were so many talented people, and I guess they were all really good at the things we were doing. So for me, that came as a surprise.
Hetty, you mentioned the learning experience. What are some of the most useful learning experiences or experiences that you learned, things that you learned that are useful for you in daily life now, going forward after this experience? Can come back from there.
So for me, I guess that's a teamwork because in school we pretty often need to do some projects in groups, and I really developed my leading skills. So now I'm just better in teamwork.
Yeah, I also think about the teamwork part because we got to do so much things together, and before I didn't know how to do that like I did then. So.
Yes, I agree, but I would add that I learned so many things about myself that now in my daily life I can easily like tell if I like that or not. Like this is, I could do that, but I know that I didn't like that, so I'm not gonna do that. Like yeah, I learned a lot about myself, and that's the most valuable for me. Yeah.
I think for me, what I learned is that like no goal is too hard to reach. Right now in my daily life, what I brought with myself is that I dream more because I know that I can reach them now. I would have never thought that I would meet like a real astronaut, like face to face. We talked. I would like. It brought so much like more for me, and now I'm more sure of myself that I can do this.
I also think that the most important that I've learned is the teamwork, because almost every second task that we needed to do in the camp was about the teamwork. Actually, in ordinary life, you may not must do that much teamwork, but as you're going to do your company or business, it's actually really needed skill.
I think the most important thing was, at least for me, to not give up, especially during the NATO test. And yeah.
What are some of the new things that you learned about space, perhaps during the parabolic flight or throughout the experience? What's the most memorable connection to space that you now know and you didn't know before?
For me, I think that I could talk to real astronauts and see that they are like actually normal people, not like some glowing, I don't know, aliens or something.
So, well, I think that the most surprising for me was knowing that the zero-G starts not when the plane starts falling, but it starts about 50 degrees when it rises up. So I think that the high top of the parabol is actually the zero-G. That was the most exciting, I think.
And for me, I think like the most interesting was that some really smart people talk about it, that you can like basically learn anything. You go to university, learn anything, and in the future you can still connect it to space. And I think like that's really interesting.
Yes, I would say exactly the same thing that Herta said. So you could basically be anything connected to space. There is no limits, and that really gave motivation to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that for me was I knew how the parabolic flight is. I knew it, but then I learned exactly how it works because we got to talk to people that work on the parabolic flight, and they told every detail about the thing.
Yes, for me, I guess that was the physics part in zero G. So we got to see how the candle and how the flame is in zero G, and also we have seen such a thing like the tennis racket effect. It basically, when the T-shaped structure, you get to spin it in zero G, and it spins switches its space axis. So my physics teacher mentioned that on my physics additional course this year. So for me, I already knew that. It was nice.
Yeah, I'd say that the flame experiment was quite interesting because if I remember correctly, even like the normal experiments, flames are not allowed. So it was quite special thing they did for us. Yeah.
That's very cool. Also, a remark to the audience, please don't hesitate to ask questions as well. I know that everyone wants to know, how did it feel? Tell us more about the emotional experience, perhaps also about the parabolic flight.
So I would like really to describe it, but it's just such an undescribable thing that we got this example. It's like trying to describe colors to blind people. So it just is the way it is. But that was a bit scary. I don't say scary. It's basically just weird in the beginning, but then you get used to it and you just have fun.
I think you can't describe it physically, but mentally it was like if you give a small child first time a candy and they get the taste of sweets and they're like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. This was exactly the feeling I felt on my first parabol. Yeah.
And then they took the candy away. Yes, I think physically, yes, you cannot explain it. It's maybe like falling
Or swimming in water, maybe.
But without the pressure,
yeah. Without water.
Yeah, exactly. But emotionally, I would say that after the first parabol, in which we got to experience the Mars gravity, well, my biggest dream is to go on Mars and do some acting or theater there, and then when we experienced the Mars gravity, I started crying because it felt so right, it felt so good, so it was actually pretty sad, but like happy sad, yes.
Yeah, I remember that somebody asked, like, did somebody cry? But then I know that it were only happy tears. And for me, the first reaction was like my brain told me, oh no, I'm going to fall right now. Somebody is like below me, but I'm just like floating, oh no. But then I like relaxed and just shut my eyes and just like feel basically nothing. You nowhere in your life you don't feel it, like nobody, no thing touches you. Like right now the chair is like below me, but there you just like are fully relaxed, nothing touches you. It was like zen.
Like a spirit.
Yeah. We also had one Zen parable, and maybe it will be the easiest to explain. So in the Zen, we were just lying or sitting, and also with our eyes closed. I would explain that it was pretty similar when you are lying on a water like a star, and you're not thinking about anything, just you, maybe water, and nothing else.
For me, I think it was quite scary how fast you get used to feeling the weightlessness. So, but the feeling itself, yeah, it's you cannot describe because you cannot compare it to anything you do in your normal life.
Acting was already mentioned here. How did this experience change your perhaps outlook for the life or your future plans? And who do you want to become? And has there been a change during the competition or not? It's okay. But yeah.
It's a quite good question. A lot of people have asked me if I want to become an astronaut, and I don't think I want because the job looks much more fun than it actually is, I think. And but yeah, I definitely want to work in the space sector in the future.
I also think that not really astronaut, but maybe as I told, I really like robotics, and actually satellites are kind of big robots, so why not?
For me, I don't really know what I want to learn, but it's assured me that whatever I learn in the future, I want it to connect to something space related.
Yes, for a while now I have been wanting to become an astronaut, and I still do. But after all these workshops and people I got to talk to in this process, I saw that I don't have to be an astronaut to do cool things. So, of course, I want to work in the Space Center or something connected to space, but we'll see in what specialty.
Yeah, before I became an astronaut, I thought like, no, because Estonian space field is so small, I can't do anything here. But right now, I'm sitting here in a space conference, talking about my experience. So my perspective has changed a lot, and I want to do something related to space in the future to help astronauts be better in space.
For me, it hasn't changed. I wanted and I still want to become a pilot. But after visiting Emory military base, I thought that maybe I could be like Air Force pilot. Before that, I thought that civil pilot for sure. And now, considering that Aero-Zero-G space aircraft, sorry, also has like 3 pilots, not 2. So maybe I'll get to experience the Zero-G at least sometime, like more than nothing.
There's a great question from the public. What does the future of human space look like for you in your lifetime? How do you see that? What's your perspective on human space flight? If anyone wants to. Oh, yes.
So we actually were told what the space flight plans look like, but for me, I really believe that we would get really well with that Gateway project. So that's the base that's around the moon, and so we can do one more moon landing, and also from this base we can start to go to Mars. So I really believe that there will be at least some research and some like place for astronauts to stay on Mars.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that in my lifetime we will get to Mars. To Moon for sure, because Artemis is right now going. But to Mars, I think in my lifetime, yes, we will go to.
I hope so. Yes, well, I'll just say we'll see. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
I'll take the next question. Your flight was together with Austrian and Luxembourgish colleagues, students. How was the experience from the international collaboration point of view, which is crucial for human space exploration? What did you learn from that?
So I think that actually all those 3 days for me, that's Estonian, Austrian, and Luxembourgish people weren't together, so we were always mixed. For example, in our rooms, we were together with Austrian, Luxembourgish. In all teams, we actually couldn't even sit together, if say so. So, yeah.
We were always mixed up.
Yes, and it was actually very good. I got a lot of new friends, and also I learned a lot about their countries, because I had to talk, oh, in what language do you speak in Luxembourg? You have like 5 of them or something. Yeah, so I learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun to get to talk to different people from different countries and connect. And right now I'm still chatting sometimes with the Austrians or Luxembourgish people, so it's really fun.
So, okay. Yes, that was really fun, and we also got to know how this. So they call it Astronaut for a Day. How these programs are in other countries, and that's pretty similar, but not in every field. And also, I was told that by Luxembourgish and Austrians as well that our program was the hardest.
That's a good point, because actually last year Estonian choosing program to the astronaut was more similar to the Austrian, and now it has been changed.
And I like the change a lot, because I have friends who went last year, and we have talked about our experiences. And I think our year was a little bit more fun because of the camp.
Yeah.
It's a good feedback. You had an incredible experience. How do you use this experience to engage with other young people in a career in STEM and, of course, space? I guess this is a more future-looking question as well. How do you use the connections that you made? I think some of you already answered to that, but if you want to add, you can feel free to add.
Maybe something how to encourage other young people to look into space or STEM is a few days ago, my kindergarten teacher wrote my mother if I could go to the kindergarten to talk about my experience to like 5-year-olds. So I think that's a good starting point, and I hope I can start some spacey in them.
Yeah, I'm making a small movie about the experience to share with my friends, and so they can share it to their friends. And already I have so many friends who are telling me that they want to come next year and they want to get to the plane, and I'm encouraging them a lot. So I think my movie will do that too.
I also wrote about my experience as an astronaut in my school newspaper, so many get to read it, and also I encourage them as well to participate next year.
What is your recommendation for students that are thinking of applying next year? Do you have some advice you would like to give them? It's being recorded, so perhaps somebody will watch
Listen
this
to your
later.
instructors.
Yeah, I think
I'm prepared for the physical test.
Yes. Maybe also that teamwork is same important as physical and your skills.
Yeah.
I think to be yourself, because I went to the camp being myself and now I'm here. So just be yourself and just like space. Or if you don't even like space and you're thinking about it, just go and you will like it afterwards. Yeah.
Well, as I said, the hardest part for me was believing in myself. So I would obviously say believe in yourself, and also believe that everything is possible and you can do it if you want to.
Or just like go with the way, or how do people say? Everything is cool. I think even if I didn't get here, it was still cool. Like the camp and all of that, it's still very cool. If you don't get like to the next step, it's still worth it.
A little comment from the public. Why do you all dislike running so much? I'm only joking, of course. It will be easier for you to run on the moon after this competition. So this is an encouragement from the public. And they find you inspirational. Are there any more questions from the public? Have you shared your experience with your schoolmates already? And if yes, then what have been the reactions? What kind of impact has it had, if it has, and has it been inspiring for people around you already?
I have shared a lot of my experiences. At first, when I got into the camp and I was telling about it to them, not my schoolmates, but my friends, but they're also my schoolmates. So basically, they were all like, oh, okay, cool. But after I went to the plane and told them about Zero G, they were all like, whoa, that's so amazing. How did you get there? And I was just like, the camp and that I was telling you about, but right now they're all so motivated to come next year, so, and the year after that, and the year after that, so.
Yes, my friends are also very, they're very excited for me, and I have talked about everything, I think, to them, but I will also be, I am also going to be in the school newspaper, so I really hope that also the younger students get to read it and see, oh, I want to do that when I'm older, and yes. So I don't think I've yet had a very big impact, but I sure will, yeah.
I actually had kind of a similar story to Anna-Maria. So when I just told them that I'm going there, they were sure very happy about me. But when I came after the flight to school and showed them the video, they were really shocked.
For me, everybody asked that, did you really go to space? Yes. Basically every person asked me that, like, no, and then I had to explain again. So this is parabolic flight. This is plane. You go this. Yeah.
Cool. There's a more general question. Do you feel like more international experience should be organized by schools, by governments, by companies? How do you respond to that?
Of course, I think it's very good to be international, because if you have international friends, you have more like career places to go, and not even maybe career, but you get knowledge from international things, and they have different types of like education as us, so it's really like important, I think, to be international.
Yes, I agree, and I think, well, we can't do things alone. We can't send rockets into space alone. So of course we need to work with other countries, and as sooner the better, I think. So yes, of course.
International collaboration is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in space industry.
Yeah.
Yes.
No country can go to space alone nowadays.
Yeah.
That's very much correct. I think we can wrap it up in here. Thank you. You've been very inspirational. Congratulations for a very successful flight, and thank you for coming to our conference.
As we're transitioning to lunch, I have a question, actually. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason why they call it the vomit comet?
That's a good one.
Don't look at me.
Is it a good idea to eat before you go there?
Yes, it is.
Well, you can eat, but not that much.
It's tiring. The experience is tiring. So if you don't, when we did all the parables and we flew back to Luxembourg, then I slept on the plane because it was so tiring. So of course you have to eat, but maybe not like certain things like milk or something.
Well, I think like I don't recommend to a friend to vomit in hypergravity and in zero gravity too. It's not very nice, but I did it.
So the vomit also floats.
No, in the
Sorry,
bag,
I don't want to get
but
into
no,
too much detail, but I did
Before
already,
lunch.
so bear with me.
it was in the bag, but in the bag it floated. Yeah.
Okay, well, great to know. Great to know. Now that I finally know, that was the only question I had. Actually. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.